Radio Free Skaro!
Hello everyone, welcome to Radio Free Skaro, episode number 801. I am Stephen in Edmonton.
Warren in Vancouver.
And Chris in Edmonton.
The 801, this is a deep cut to start the podcast, but the 801 was a temporary supergroup that Brian Eno put together for like 2 or 3 shows in 1976. With like Robert Fripp, I think, was part of it.
Phil Manzanera.
Yeah, Phil Manzanera. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Chris? You know this
I've never heard of any of these people except Brian Eno.
Bill McCormick, Francis Monkman, Phillips.
Simon Phillips was 17-year-old drummer with Simon Phillips, who was awesome on it. Anyway, the live album was great. The live version that they do of the Beatles' Tomorrow Never Knows is fantastic, and I heartily implore you to go seek it out. The 801. Oddly enough,
on YouTube.
No. You know what? There's no video. There used to be the live album used to be on Apple Music, but this is why I'm beginning to lean towards more buying music as opposed to relying on streaming. It no longer is in our country. There's like some Brian Eno albums that are not on Apple Music. Like Ambient 4 on Land, which is one of my favorite Brian Eno albums, is not on Apple Music. Ambient 1, Music for Airports, Ambient 2, and Ambient 3 are on there. Not Ambient 4.
My favorite version of this is when you look for movie score stuff, and it's the Prague Orchestra or somebody, which could very well be the people who did some recent stuff, but a lot of times there's a lot of knockoff stuff on there that is not the original score, and you're like, oh, okay, well, thanks there, random guy.
That's terrible. That's like you know,
sometimes guys with synthesizers, somebody threw together a GarageBand thing in the vain hope it gets some streaming income.
That's terrible. That's like saying, oh, look at this young child, I bought you this Darth Vader costume. Star Wars doesn't have 2 S's in it. What's going? Why did this guy's wearing a hockey helmet? I don't understand.
Star Wars has 2 S's, one at the start, one at the end.
Yeah, I know. I'm in Wars. I know. As I was saying that, I was thinking, wait, it actually does. Anyway, 801. The number of this episode and the number of a great album of Brian Eno, 1976. On today's episode, as we wind down our commentaries for the foreseeable future, and the reason why is because it's Combat. Yeah, it's that Torchwood episode of Combat that Noel Clarke wrote. So
good, we had to do it twice.
We did it again. Yeah, we recorded most of our Torchwood commentaries several weeks or months ago, and then the Noel Clarke thing came out. And you know what? It's not like we were singing his praises or anything like that during the course of the commentary. But we recorded that commentary without knowing what had come out, and it would have sounded weird. So we recorded it again. And as such, in our unspoken attempt to not talk about Noel Clarke at all, this might be the most off-topic Doctor Who commentary
which says something
we've ever done. So there you go. If you want some off-topic rambling for 48.5 minutes, stick around for the commentary.
Or if you want some comments right now,
or if you just want to stick with this, you got it there too. But yeah, that's what's on the show today. But hey, let's do our weekly thing in the Timelash, looking back at the week that was, starting June 6th. Not 1944. Doctor Who was not on during D-Day, oddly enough.
No, it
war would have been much
the
different
day
if
after.
that was the case.
It was postponed for yes. D-Day happened, thus bumping Doctor Who's premiere back for another 20 years, roughly. No, so we're into summer here. It's quite something actually that there have been as many Doctor Who episodes airing historically in June as there have been. Like the Aztecs. Like, we're into the Aztecs right now. Like, Aztecs episode 3 aired this day, 1964. the 20th anniversary of D-Day was a Doctor Who episode. And, like, there's still a lot of episodes to go in the season. Like, the first season of Doctor Who, like, carried on from November into September of the next year. Just think about that. That's a 10-month season of Doctor Who to kick off. Man.
What if old TV with 28 episodes?
I know. It's like 42.
Oh, it is old TV. It's not like it.
It is old TV, Warren. I know. It's like I wonder if the fan message boards of the day in Doctor Who land.
You mean people writing into the Radio Times?
Yeah, people in the Radio Times, or like at the church board, there'd be like a little bulletin board up there where people would just post their opinions of Doctor Who from the night before or something like that.
It's exactly what happened, I'm sure.
And I wonder if, like, in 1969 or 70, they go, What are you talking about 6 months until the next season of Doctor? And they've cut the episode numbers in half? What is fire Derek Sherwin? They probably said big screaming letters on this church billboard.
How am I supposed to not record these because VCRs haven't been invented?
Well, it's all because Derek Sherwin said bad things about Pip and Jane Baker once upon a time.
Did he? Well, I was going to say, did he really? But of course he did. He said bad things about everyone, Derek Sherwin. Except for Derek Sherwin, all they know.
He was a crotchety old man.
Just a little bit.
His whole life, I think.
I think so. You get the impression that he was kind of that way, you know, like learning about
I criticize him, but
I mean, he did. That's true, Warren. You just take after him, really. But you know,
a little bit.
I mean, he was crotchety, but I don't know, entertaining, I guess. He was at LI Who, one of the two LIs Who.
Gallifrey one.
2015, yeah.
2015. I don't think he ever went at the Gallifrey one, did he? Or I don't remember him at the Gallifrey one. He probably was, but I do remember he was on this podcast once. I interviewed him about something several years ago. And for some reason, the Skype call wouldn't go through, so he kept sending me different links so I have now, sadly he's passed on, but I have like 3 different Derek Sherwin Skype accounts on my contacts list to Derek Sherwin. So it's very strange, but yeah, he passed away a few years ago. Didn't have anything to do with the Aztecs. He did have something to do with the War Games, episode 8 of which aired on June 7th. I think we're episode 8. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it aired on June 7th, 1969. I think that might be one of the lowest rated, like viewing figures wise, episodes of Doctor Who in history. Like, it was below 4 million at that point, which is shocking.
Which is a luxury now for anybody.
I know. But it's shocking in like the 3 channel universe of Doctor Who, and like, you know, you get, let's just get this thing over with. It was the War Games back then. They're just like, whatever, let's just finish this. But yeah, you know, we hold that up. We hold that story up as like being like the greatest story of all time, and now like, yeah, barely anybody watched it at the time.
Yeah, so what? What does that mean? Nothing. Even less now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it did too. Holy smokes!
Right, what was the number?
Compared to Seeds of Death, some War Games numbers are like half. Episode 8 was the lowest, 3.5 million.
Yeah, but we're looking at it from the fan point of view. We're like, oh my god, this big important thing happened. People tuning in week by week didn't care or understand. Oh, okay, these guys have costumes. Great, whatever. Right.
I'm not going to pretend I was around in 1969 to know what the TV landscape was, but I got to think there's some negative things to be said about a 10 episode arc and fatigue and disinterest after a while. So
yeah, this ain't Roots, which is like less episodes than that, and I think
right.
during the days of the week. So if I recall correctly from being a 6-year-old when it came on TV.
Yeah, it's fascinating actually. I do find it fascinating that like a 10 like I don't know if the ratings dipped as much during Dalek Smash, but I'm sure they fell a little bit over the course of 12 weeks back in 65 and 66. But that had Daleks, you know, that had like, oh wow, hey, let's tune in for the Daleks because, you know, Daleks are fun.
Dalek's master plan was on average well above 9 million. The lowest was 7.9. That was the Christmas episode.
Wow. It gives you an impression about how, like, you know, we look back at the Troughton era as like, oh, that's when Doctor Who really began with, you know, the actual character of the Doctor, and Troughton's like the best Doctor ever. But let's face it, overall, it was probably one of the least successful eras of Doctor Who until, like, you know, the late 80s, until it got sort of canceled. Like, it never really got much over, like, 8 or 9 million. It might have hit, like, over 10 maybe once. I'm not too sure about that. By the way, I love how we just casually veered into a stats conversation while Warren's on board here. Yeah, it's pretty great.
Also, the medium of television wasn't that old at the time even. So, I mean, you know, that must factor into it somehow.
I know, but at the time, I mean, we talked about Derek Sherwin. I mean, he was like basically we're saying, well, let's see, maybe we should just wind down Doctor Who or something. I don't know. Let's give it one more year and see if we can't think of something else maybe to put it in its place or something. And then Derek Sherwin says, well, what if we do this? What if we set it on Earth and have it be like Unit and stuff and try something different? What the hell? And then he gets seconded onto another show altogether and doesn't even see it through. And of course, it's season 7, which actually helps save Doctor Who and make it becoming an ongoing thing.
So, to your earlier guess, Troughton's era never hit 10 million. The highest was Croton's episode 1 at 9 million. Even.
The Crotons. Think about that, folks. When you think about, season 6 is terrible, apart from the War Games, well, everyone watched the Crotons.
Nowadays, we can look at it and say, hey, season 6 at least exists, bar the one.
That's true.
Here's the other thing. None of this makes any sense. It never has, and it never will.
Yeah.
Like Netflix spent, what, $200 million? Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, you know, Jupiter's Legacy?
Legacy,
What's it
$200
called?
million. Nobody watched it. I canceled it.
They canceled it. $200 million were spent on that Netflix show that nobody watched.
And I've never seen it either, so I don't know. But nobody has a clue what the hell's going on, and they never have.
No.
And
It's on my list of things to watch.
Is it real? Take it off.
Eventually.
Take it off. Take it off the list.
Is that Netflix's choice or your choice?
To watch it?
Yeah.
Yeah, is it like a Netflix recommendation, or are you saying I would like to do it?
The premise sounded interesting enough that I'd watch at least the first one.
I took one look at the old beardy superhero, and I'm like, nope, I'm done.
I thought, is that a joke? Surely it's a spoof show, right? Is that what it is? Because it looks kind of like that. Anyway, here's a couple notable dates. June 8th, of course, 1974 was episode 6 of Planet of the Spiders. John Pertwee's Doctor signs off on Doctor Who, never to be seen again in his costume. It's a joke, of course. I think literally every time I've seen John Pertwee since June 8th, 1974, he's been wearing his Doctor Who costume, be it in Doctor Who or at some convention or something.
In Wurzel Gummidge. Very confusing.
For some reason he wore the costume in Wurzel Gummidge. I didn't think... And Who Done It? He's like, why is he still dressed as Doctor Who? Doing Who Done It?
I remember reading about Wurzel Gummidge and going, wait a minute, he went from being Doctor Who to this Scarecrow character? Isn't that a demotion of some sort?
I know, but he was hard. Wasn't he like one of the producers? Like he basically said, "Hey, let's make a show about Wurzel Gummidge," and
I think it's beloved by kids.
It is.
That's the other thing. I'd never heard of it. Yeah. What the hell is this Scarecrow nonsense? It's just like me going on about Astar the robot, for instance, stuff nobody knows about outside of Canada.
Yeah,
enough that they did a remake of it.
And Mackenzie Crook. Yeah, Mackenzie Crook as a title character. That's right. I remember that. I wonder how that went down. I really heard about it.
June and pretty version of Wurzel Gummidge, yeah, very good.
Yeah, June 9th, 2007. Kids, it's been 14 years since Blink aired. Blink.
And wow, I was going to say our eyeballs are dry, but I couldn't get it out.
Eyeballs are dry. Yes, I know. You haven't closed your eye. I admit I have sometimes closed one eye and then the other eye to try.
That's how you get them. Or as I put in a fan film once, you put a paper bag over their heads, and that's it. They're done.
Oh my god, that would work. Mm-hmm. Why don't they do that? Just put a paper bag over their head.
I know. Easy. Why do I have to think about this? I'm not I was going to say Hollywood writer, but a UK writer.
Well, you are a writer there, Warren. I mean,
I don't know.
No.
I'm not writing, sequels to... well, I guess I am technically writing a sequel to Missing Angel.
At the very least, I think you should get like a little miniature paper bag. And you have like a Weeping Angel action
I do not have
right?
a Weeping Angel.
What?
I think I have a tiny little one somewhere, like a little.
How do you not have a Weeping Angel action toy?
There are some serious gaps in the bookshelf doctor's pantheon.
Oh, that's got to be rectified. Oh man, Gallifrey 1 2022. The first thing you're doing is going to the dealer room and go, "Excuse me, I do not have any Weeping Angels. Give me one.
Stop everything. Where are they?
Everything. Let me in early. Let me into the dealer room early.
A photo cartoonist is speaking.
Meanwhile, we're on stage at our live show wondering where the hell Warren went.
Yeah, I don't care. Listen, I grant you leave, Warren. Warren is off going to the dealer room. I'm sorry, notable guest actor who we're talking to. Warren needs an action dolly. Also notable. Also notable is
imagine if the notable guest actor was one of the people who played an angel.
What if I came back with said dolly?
Yeah, Sarah Louise. Oh, I can't remember her name now, but she has 3 names, and her name is Sarah, and she played one. And she was at a lot of conventions talking about how she was a weeping angel, which basically takes a lot of acting still, which requires a lot more still skill than I have. That's for sure.
Still skill.
It is. That's like one of the best, like kind of like in Toast of London. He's one of the best wind actors. It's just like, yes, he knows how to act in wind. Well, I know how to act still. Damn it. As a weeping angel. This week in history, in 1972 and 1965, are probably 2 of the worst episodes of Doctor Who, in my opinion. In the Time Monster Part 4, which aired on June 10th, and The Chase, Episode 4, which aired on June 12th, 1965. That is the haunted house one, and is that the Mary Celeste one as well,
Probably.
or is that in? I can't remember. Oh God, the middle 2 episodes of The Chase are some of my least favorite Doctor Who of all time, and the Time Monster is ridiculous. So yeah, what a week in history for those 2. Oh.
Yeah, I don't often say is everybody a high making this, but Time Monster qualifies.
Yeah, haven't watched it in a while. Erica and I haven't done much Lazy Doctor Who during this whole pandemic. Let's face it, but we're getting there. That's why I'm hesitant to talk too much about the Time Monster, lest I spoil her on it because she hasn't seen it before.
We did a commentary or something on it because I remember, or a miniscope, because I remember watching it at a hotel room in Nanaimo because I was at a conference.
I don't think we did a commentary.
This is where my life is, watching the Time Monster at a hotel room in Nanaimo. Okay.
I don't remember doing a comment. I know that we did a miniscope on it.
That must be what it is, yeah.
Because, Paul Bernard directed it. He took the 3 stories. That one did Alex and Frontier in Space. But I don't think he knew quite what he was doing with Time Monster, which is probably why part of it is an incomprehensible mess. Yeah. So, once again, hit or miss in the Timelash this week when it comes to stuff that's airing in the history of Doctor Who. But we move on. The Series 8 Blu-ray at long last has hit North American shores. How about that? Chris, did you actually end up getting yours?
Yep. Yeah, it came the day after it was supposed to.
Okay.
Is our long era of bitter tweeting from everybody over?
No.
Delayed release?
That's the season 24 one.
Yeah, it comes out in September, so... that's the unfortunate bit. So you have to wait that long for season 24 because I'm so looking forward to it. Richard Bignell tweeted a picture saying, "Here, look at how many extras there are 3 columns of special features on the first disc alone."
Well, he also
Stunning.
he also tweeted out a thing about the PDF content on it. So between all like the Radio Times stuff and the shooting scripts and this and that, there's something like 4,000 pages of extras in PDF format.
Oh my God. That is so gorgeous. And I have to wait till September to get that. Oh, man. Hurts. Anyway, season 8 one's good though. I haven't watched all the stories. I watched as I usually do, I go right to the big documentary. This one's about Terrence Dix.
Is that the Frank Skinner one?
That's Frank Skinner one, yeah. That one's on the bonus disc, which is fascinating. Go on. I saw a few people remark that they cried watching it. It was a bit sad, in many ways, because he's no longer with us, of course. But it was. I knew of that happening because Paul Cornell is in it, and he was sort of at the time, sort of like, I don't know, I'm going down to be in it. It's during COVID. All this stuff was shot during COVID, And so I enjoyed the documentary, but part of me it was also looking to see how they got around it. To the main round table feature that sort of like is the bedrock of the whole thing is where Frank Skinner is around the table with Cindy Colgan, Rob Shearman, and Paul Cornell. And they're not like distanced or anything, but I think they're all like, they were obviously tested and stuff or checked to see if they had COVID. But other ones like he meets Frank Skinner talks with Crispin Letts, Barry Letts' son, and they're sitting in a restaurant, but they very carefully framed it to make it but you can see that Frank Skinner is sitting at one table and Crispin Letts is sitting at another table. Like but they're shooting it with long lens so that they appear to be in the same shot, but they're clearly different. And then other interviews, other interviews are like taking place outside. The episode culminates in Frank Skinner going up to Terrence Dick's office at his home, which his wife didn't even go into when he was alive. Like, that was his inner sanctum, so to speak. Didn't even get the key until Terrence Dix died. So that's a moment that I will not spoil here if you have not seen it. But it was a very good documentary on that. And I watched the Terror of the Autons with the the special effects, the updated visual effects, which are very tastefully done, because it's basically just the little doll. The little doll guy gets a revamp.
Well, that wasn't particularly bad even at the time.
Yeah, and also it doesn't look like it's a flashy visual effect. And then just a lot of the background shots and the CSO shots are sort of like being defocused a little bit, so they don't look quite as, fake. And then, of course, the nesting consciousness at the end too is not just some weird video effect. It's an actual octopus that sort of flies up. So yeah, it's good though. It's good. So I got through that and most of the Mind of Evil right now, but Mind
of Evil.
Oh, I know.
I adore that.
It's such a good story. So you haven't have you got the?
I haven't cracked the shrink wrap.
I was wondering if you got done. I very consciously, at least opened the shrink wrap the second I got it out of the Amazon package. Just because I thought of you, Chris, they could let's just at least do this. Let's get one up on Chris at least. Even if I don't watch this today, at least I got the shrink wrap off.
Well, you also got it the day it was supposed to come.
I know.
Not the day after, like me. So
I was pleasantly surprised because it was supposed to. It said, June 7th. It's coming June 7th, and all of a sudden it was just at my door. I was very pleased. So yeah. Also, I should note that speaking of COVID, this is all old news to you people in the UK who got this like 8 months ago, whenever it was. But the behind the sofas are all about 25 minutes long, I think, and they cover up the whole story. Basically, how initially it was like individual episodes would be, but they covered off the whole story. Possibly because Pertwee stories are long for the most part. There's 3 6-parters on this thing, but also I'm wondering because of COVID, perhaps had them curtail it a little bit because you've got a plexiglass screen between Janet Fielding and Sarah Sutton, and you got a plexiglass screen between Stuart Bevan, who played Cliff Jones, and Katie Manning. But because they're a couple, Sacha Dhawan and Anjali Mohindra are also the other third pairing watching stuff. So
I think having a plexiglass thing between Janet Fielding and anybody is a good idea.
Wow. Okay, I didn't see it going there, but all right.
Didn't either, actually. Wow. All right. Anyway, there's some good stuff on there, and of course, I watched the entire studio footage of episode 1 of The Closet of Axos, which exists.
Of course, you did.
Entirety. Mm-hmm. So that was the other thing I did. So, yeah, pretty good.
Where's the Big Ben cam? Where's his 1970s GoPro on his bike?
I wish the film
was 16 film.
There's probably somebody out there some Doctor Who fan out there who, if they had access to a time machine, probably would go back to filming and give the Pigman Josh actor a GoPro and say,
Steven, you're talking about Steven, just say it.
Yeah, it's me. Yeah, it's me taking the place of Derek Ware, just to say, I'm gonna go right around. I'm gonna be Pigman Josh. Say gibberish all this time.
I like how Doctor Who fans inevitably, in our estimation, just go back in time using, like I've said before, one of the most amazing inventions mankind's ever invented, and do the most trivial, stupid nonsense with it.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you? I think that's the safest way to do it, Warren. If you do anything bigger, you're going to mess with the history of time and space. You're probably going
to mess with time anyway. What if somebody finds this footage from Big Ben Josh, invents, I don't know, compression of video several decades early, boom, Russia's in charge, we're all doomed.
Yeah, exactly. So don't do it. Just take a video recorder and just record missing Doctor Who episodes and release them gradually over the course of the next 60 to 70
Don't go back in time for dumb reasons. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Also true. So Time Fracture, the interactive theater experience, as we said last week, is now open in the UK. The What's on Stage YouTube page has a brief feature on it, including some clips of this play, this interactive theater experience in action, which gives me a slightly better idea of what it's all about. And the Radio Times podcast also has a big their latest episode has a feature on it with a bunch of the people who are involved in it. So yeah, I'm becoming more and more intrigued, and yet at the same wary of it because it's live theater, and I don't know if I'm supposed to be like interacting with these people.
We can't really fly over there right now anyway, so it's all academic at this point.
I know, but I hope they would keep open for a while.
Just making it about us.
Just a little bit. I mean, I'd like to check it out. Out of curiosity, I'd like to check it out.
Yeah, I would too. I'm just saying it's legally not possible at the moment.
No.
As we looked up last week, I think it was, it's up and running.
Yep.
I don't think I actually looked at how long it's supposed to run for.
No, I didn't either.
So I don't know if it's got an actual end date or if it's going to be, indefinite for as long as interest is there or what's going on.
It'll be like the day after the borders open. We shut it down. Sorry. It'll be like Spinal Tap performing Rock and Roll Creation on stage, and Derek Smalls is the entire show trying to get out of his pod, and he only gets out of the pod when the song actually ends, and then tries to go back.
Yep.
Yeah, a little Spinal Tap reference for you there. So yeah, that's if you want to check it out, links in the show notes, radiofreeskaro.com, to learn more about Doctor Who Time Fracture. Rachel Talalay, noted Doctor Who director Rachel Talalay, has a charity auction going on right now on eBay. Several very rare and unique items from her time, both in Doctor Who and other stuff like Tankerel and stuff. She has put up for auction to support the Brassica Foundation, which is a cancer prevention and protection society, which her dad, her late father, was in charge of for several years. Very, very good cause. There are some really cool items here, like a behind the scenes Christmas 2017 original photo book. Only 5 of these were made, mostly for the cast and crew and stuff. There is a large cyanotype, which I do not quite understand what it is. A collage of Peter Capaldi behind the scenes photos, because Capaldi's quite a photographer. There's only one of those. That's up there. There's some other stuff like a hat, like a Series 9 hat for the crew.
If it's the photo book, I think it is. I may have actually seen it at her place, just as I humble brag. And there's a great picture of on a soundstage. Michelle Gomez doing a pose as Missy, but in silhouette. It's a pretty amazing picture. I don't know if PCAP took it or not.
Oh, that's cool. Well, it could be yours. It could be yours. All these things and more. Links in the show notes. It's all the posts. All the ebook postings are on her website. I bid on a couple of these slow ones. I've already been outbid on one. The Doctor Who baseball cap. There's some T-shirts as well, which are basically stuff that's been made for the crew essentially. So these are pretty unique items that she's auctioning off. They go for about the next 8 or 9 days, I think, based on what I saw on the eBay postings. So get in there. Get in there, bid on these amazing items. It's all for a good cause. And it's Rachel Talalay, for God's sake. She's one of the greatest directors to ever work on Doctor Who.
I noticed that even though she lives in Vancouver, everything ships from Blaine, Washington, which is just across the border.
Yep, that is a PO box.
Make it easier for U.S. purchasers.
Yeah.
What about me though? What if I win that T-shirt?
Well, I'm sure something can be arranged for it to ship from Vancouver, where it's going to be less expensive than shipping from the U.S.
Warren, pop along there and get it. And
all right, sure, I'll do that.
Yeah, bring it to me at Gallifrey 1 next year.
Just to jump back for a very, very quick second, bookings for Time Fracture go through to roughly mid-April of 2022 so far.
Oh, we could get it done.
It's expected to run for at least that long. So
we can get there, right? We could do that. Surely it can happen. Maybe. I've got hopes of getting there in November-ish, which probably won't happen, but if I do, then I might go. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to. I don't want to leak anything from official sources or anything like this, but something dolly rated Dolly Related rather came across my Twitter feed, and it's a leak of a future character options set. I will say no more than that. I'm going to wait for the official release, but let me tell you, folks, it's very exciting.
You will say no more on mic. You will definitely say more off mic.
Warren, I will tell more to you. Yes.
I hope it's the 3 Who rule from
from the State of Decay. Yeah, no.
Yeah, it better be State of Decay.
It's not. Alas, it's not. But it is good. It's good. Okay, but we'll wait for character options. Now that it seems to be out there in the world, hopefully a press release will be coming soon, and we'll talk.
Long-awaited John Bishop. Okay.
Yes, exactly what we've been waiting for. Speaking of Talalay, though, her how I filmed this Rachel Talalay YouTube series. She has like 3 or 4 different things about how she made various different Doctor Who special effects shots, and she did a whole one a couple weeks ago, but I missed it. But she followed up with in a recent one as well, how that shot of Bill the Cyberman carrying the Doctor at the end of the cold open of Twice Upon a Time or the Doctor Falls, I can't remember which one, Doctor Falls, is really cool. Warren, you had a look at this one, how they made that shot, didn't you?
Yeah, basically, to very oversimplify it, they used a green table, essentially, because the stuntman couldn't hide his face well enough, and it was super uncomfortable for both the person in the suit and for PCAP to do it. So basically, they took this table, painted it green, essentially, and then had to get rid of that and then paint back in the Cybermen's legs. Plus, she said they're fighting smoke, and there's all these other elements. Also, she said that Moffat specified how important this shot was to have, and yet on the day, because this is making TV, they had very little time to pull it off. That's all within 5 minutes.
Yeah,
it's a 5-minute video. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a short video, and then she also posted like some of the rejected shots where basically the Cyberman's walking with a PCAP dummy, which I found amusing because you can kind of tell it's a dummy, and they shot it and that didn't quite look right, and maybe they sort of like covered it up later or stuff. But I thought it was quite ironic given that it was a Cyberman carrying a Doctor dummy when you look back to Tomb of the Cybermen, when there's like, a cyber leader carrying an obvious human dummy as well, or vice versa when Toberman's carrying this clearly empty cyber.
That is a great dummy shot.
So I thought it was quite an homage to that, unintentional though it may be. But I have a look at her website. How I filmed this, Rachel Talalay. There's some really great insights into how she made some Doctor Who. So there have been some good things creatively coming out of this pandemic, and like stuff like this, where it's a very talented artist and director talking about her work on her own YouTube channel because, why not? She's got nothing else to do. Stuck at home, so let's just talk about how I made some iconic TV moments. So. It's cool stuff. I look forward to future ones. I'm going to suggest a couple shots to her, and see if she does videos on those, because there's some cool shots that I'd like to know about. So yeah. Let's talk about some Big Finish stuff coming out. Big Finish Out of Time 2.
Indeed.
Out now.
I was playing the fun game, did I buy this or not, a year ago? So what I do is I just go on my Big Finish app and I pull down purchased and I see, I did buy this. Okay. So I way back when I bought Out of Time 2 and it just popped into my feed. I haven't listened to it yet, but it's in there. Right.
They have a cool trailer where it's like based around like this little board game kind of thing, which I thought was kind of amusing. It was kind of cool. But there it is, like Doctors 5 and 10. It's basically like Time Crash Part 2.
And old school Cybermen.
And old school, I know. I'm always the reason I want to talk about this because for some reason, apart from like that one Big Finish play from like 1 or 2 years ago with David Banks returning in the role of the Cyber Leader, they always go towards the non-80s Cybermen. I'm thinking, you're missing the best Cybermen. I love the 80s Cybermen.
Right? We might be in the minority on that. I agree with you, but we might be in the minority.
Well, you, me, and Liz Miles all agree that the 80s Cybermen are the best Cybermen. And we don't have enough representation of them.
But she's on the inside. We need an inside job here, Liz Miles. Come on.
I agree. I mean, she's her Lonely Man in the Mountain, Sylvester McCoy, Big Finish, has gone down very well, and she's writing a lot more. But I would definitely like to see some 80s Cybermen from the digital pen of Liz Miles. So
I like how we've just hoisted all this responsibility on her and her alone.
Yes, she has carte blanche in what she writes. That's just like, hey, Big Finish, here is what I have written. You are accepted. I'm sure that's how that's how it works, right?
Yes, that's exactly how most entertainment media works. The writers tell people what to do, and it just happens the way they exactly want it to happen. History of Hollywood is littered with such examples.
Yeah, exactly. So Liz has no problem in just like, oh, by the way, Big Finish, I've written Earthshock Part 2, not Part 2 of Earthshock, but the
return of Beryl Reid as Beryl Reid.
Surely John Coleshaw could do a good Beryl Reid. Surely he could do that.
I guarantee he can.
Yeah, come on. It's been 50 years since the Peladon adventures have happened on screen in January of 2022. So there's a new box set coming in January of 2022. Peladon, 4-story box set with David Troughton returning to the role of King Peladon. It takes place at various times throughout the history of Peladon, which is kind of cool. They did one Big Finish play back in 2009. I did a check on this with David Troughton reprising his role, but that's kind of cool. This is the neat kind of spin-off stuff you could do when it comes to Big Finish, where you can sort of like, hey, let's do like internal politics on Peladon. And do a whole box set on it. So
I want some good quality mining content.
Oh, there's got to be stuff about the miners in there, right? I think you have to write that. You can't ignore the plight of the miners and Quebec and how they got those silly hairdos and stuff. I mean, it's probably what the whole thing should be about. So anyway, Peladon box set, January 2022. Speaking of anniversaries, did you know that the Doctor Who news page is celebrating 25 years of Doctor Who news. 25 years that website's been in. How about that? Well, I think it's something else, but
it is. Sure. I mean, it's been a heck of a resource for a very long time, and as a storied history,
right? I mean, how many times have we relied on its
many, I'm pretty sure.
Certainly in the early days before Chris came along and curated our news list every week, we basically said, okay, Warren, time to record. What's on Doctor Who news now?
I think the reason you're quiet is you're basically going, let's hear it for LexisNexis.
I don't understand that. What's that mean?
That's a business newswire. It's
is it really
the business newswire?
Huh. Well, I'm out to lunch on that one. I've never heard of it, but
you're not a journalist like myself.
I guess not. No. But anyway, congratulations! 25 years of Doctor Who news. That's amazing. Like I love that the Shannon Patrick Sullivan, who also runs the website that I have bookmarked that has basically the rundown of every single Doctor Who story ever made is referenced in many different websites, and indeed Toby Haydock's Doctor Who podcast and by me every time we do a commentary miniscope, I'm on that website. I love that he made the announcement on May 30th, 1996 on Recards Doctor Who group, which is something I've never been to, but you two chaps were on there a lot.
I have been in that fetid swamp.
Once upon a time.
Yeah. Never went there, but that's
well, when the web didn't exist and there was a time when that was the case, that was where you went.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Last time I looked at Recards Doctor Who was probably earlier this week.
Really? What's going on in Recards Doctor Who right now?
I don't know.
Somebody's yelling about something to somebody else, probably.
Oh.
There for the binaries, not the chatter.
Oh, you were there to ask directions on how to get away from there, is what you were saying. Also, one more bit about swag. The Hero Doctor Advent Calendar is coming out.
Hero Collector?
Hero Collector, that's the one. In September, the TARDIS Advent Calendar. $130 for this. What's in it? Is it those little miniature guys, like little miniature Doctor Who figures?
Well, it's Ecomas, so you'd assume so, yeah.
There's different stuff. There's like a bottle opener, and like there's like it's not just toys. It's other stuff too.
Heat ray warm Dalek socks. Dalek socks.
Here's a thumbtack. We just had it lying around.
But it's a Doctor Who bump once upon a time.
Yeah, but it's a Doctor Who. So that's coming. Wow, that's kind of cool actually.
Coasters, some Sontaran egg cup.
Well, don't spoil everything. I like to be surprised.
It's right there in the description.
I know. I listen. I get the Lego Advent calendars every year, and I purposely don't even look at them. I just think, yep, there it is. I'm just gonna grab it, throw it in the cart, off to the and then I put it away until December 1st because I don't want to be spoiled. Because they often say, "Hey, look what's in the Advent calendar." Thinking, no, I want to be surprised every day. So, thankfully, this one doesn't. There's a TARDIS. Like the whole box is a TARDIS, so I can't be that surprised. But do I want to drop $130 for this though?
I mean, it's not like
maybe just dramatic and not give you an answer.
Yeah.
It's not like it's the first year it's been out. It's probably not the last year it'll be out. So,
is it not the first year? This is the first.
This is the last year Christmas will ever happen.
This is the
been
first
banned by the SJ and indeed W's.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen this before. So maybe it is new. Who knows? Anyway, links to the show notes on the Hero Collector website if you want to have a look at it yourself. We end the news portion of this podcast with two deaths to announce. Damaris Heyman, who of course was in the Demons as Olive Hawthorne, who's the eccentric White Witch of Devil's End, passed away. At the
everything
age of
I read
91.
was that she was just a completely lovely person.
I know. I know everyone was just like, oh, she's just a delightful person. She, of course, was in so many more things other than Doctor Who, but we're Doctor Who fans, so this is often the only place where we see Damaris Heyman, or indeed the aforementioned Beryl Reid. But yeah, she passed away at the age of 91. She was still like doing like stuff for like Bill Baggs and stuff, like, or Keith Barnfather. Yeah. Like the White Witch of Devil's End, which is a spin-off story in 2017, which she was like still sort of associated with that, which is kind of cool. So R.I.P. Damaris Heyman. And Toby Haydock announced the death of Godfrey James. Godfrey James, who was in so many things in Doctor Who. I remember him as Commandant Gertz in 2 episodes of the Tripod Season 2. He was excellent in that. He was so good as this sort of like corrupt police officer, essentially, in Switzerland, but in the future, but in the past. It was such a good performance. I thought it was just despicable in the role, but which means he was really good. And he's somewhat wasted in Underworld. He's sort of like got a smaller role in Underworld, but since Underworld is
everyone is
bizarrely one of
Underworld.
it's one of our favorite stories on this podcast. So naturally, that's the best thing that he was ever in. Am I right?
Sure.
The ideas behind Underworld and the technology used poorly in Underworld is what I like about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway,
I like the story.
Yeah, I do too.
Godfrey
James is a yeah. I mean, I think we Doctor Who could have found better use for Godfrey James than the role that he played in Underworld over the years. But
because of his limited involvement with Doctor Who, I wasn't sure if I should put this in the news list or not. And I load up Toby's tweet, and first reply I see to it is from you. So I'm like, okay, Steven's talking about this guy, so it's probably best to have him in here.
Anything to talk about the tripods, all right? And I think that's 2 episodes where the tripods don't even appear, I think. So it's like, it's all Commandant Gertz.
Noted.
Yeah, it is. Every time, anytime I can mention the tripods, I will do that. So anyway, that's it for our news list, folks. Hope you enjoyed all that after the break. Torchwood Revisited, commentary for combat. Welcome back. It's time for combat. So here's the deal, folks. I'm sure we probably already said this in the episode in the news and banter section that you've just listened to, but for you folks in the Patreon feed, getting this a couple weeks early, this is for you for the most part. We previously recorded a commentary for combat several months ago, long before the Noah Clark allegations came to light. I don't think we said anything, hey, how about that Noah Clark? But we kind of, we're commenting on his work on the episode and writing and perhaps his general career without knowing that. And out of context, it probably wouldn't sound very good. So we're re-recording it again. The great thing about our commentaries is we have no memory of what we said. We probably won't talk about Noel Clark very much during the course of this commentary. But to dismiss the episode as a whole would be wrong, too, because there's all the other people who worked on it whose work deserves to be watched and possibly mocked throughout the course.
Not even, if I remember, episode. What I do remember of the last commentary is there was a fair bit of mockery going on.
There was a wee bit.
Prepare for more.
A fair bit of swearing on the part of one of the characters.
There's a lot of profanity in this episode. Yeah, I know. I was really shocked by it. Oh, goodness.
Well, it's Torchwood. It's the adult post-watershed.
Yeah. Saucy.
I suppose.
Saucy post-watershed,
but it's the sweariest of all episodes is Combat.
And it's very vidfire. I'm specifically saying that to annoy somebody who emailed us specifically to tell us it wasn't vidfire. And I know it's not vidfire, but I like saying it, okay?
It's fun. Vidfire is fun. It's our catch-all phrase. The Hobbit movies, vidfired. Torchwood, vidfire.
Clearly not vidfire.
No, it
Much
wasn't.
more expensive than that.
Yeah.
But it sounds good, so we say
Yeah.
it.
The motion smoothing switch on your TV that should be turned off the instant you buy that new TV, it's the vidfire switch. That's what it is.
It should be vidfired is what it should be.
It should be vidfired into the sun.
So if Donald Trump made a movie based a movie production based TV show where he let people go, that they would be vidfired?
No, because vidfire is too cool to be anywhere near that.
No.
Destroyer of democracy and utter stain on history.
Yeah, that was a tortured analogy to get to his what was his, the bodyguard?
Yeah,
what was his, the boss?
That was a lot of work, Chris.
I don't remember
that.
I don't even remember that show. I don't even remember him anymore. It's so great.
It was essentially the Star Wars prequel of the end of democracy.
We should really be in this commentary.
We
back
should.
In the day, I used to watch the British version of The Apprentice, which was hosted by Alan Sugar.
That's right.
That's my main recollection.
That's true.
Who thankfully is not so serious in political office.
No, as featured
on Doctor Who.
Doctor Who. So there we go. There's your tie-in, folks.
One episode offhand. But.
No, I can't either. But it wasn't Combat and it wasn't Torchwood, which is what we're going to be watching right now. So please get your legally purchased NFTs and HD DVDs all at the ready, because we're going to watch Torchwood Season 1, Episode 11, Combat, in 3, 2, 1, play. There it is.
Since we're recording this much after all the rest of them, I'd forgotten they were above the law and beyond the police.
And that staircase has 105 steps.
Oh, I didn't know that. Did they mention that in the opening preamble?
Well,
they should.
Spray painted on the column. But yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I never noticed. Oh, walking slow. There we go. Here now the actual episode begins. Here it is. See, it's BBC.
Yes.
We should just do a narration.
They should just rename
track.
it Weevil Beaten.
Weevil Beaten. Good old Cardiff.
We've talked a lot in the past about how it has been a very long time since we watched any of these.
Yeah.
Before starting this series, and that was definitely true for when we did our initial recording of this. But one thing that I had forgotten was just how little Weevil Fight Club there really actually is. Like there's a lot of other stuff that happens before that.
Yeah. There is. Also, we're not mentioning John. We're not mentioning John Barrow. Boy, that Noel Clark and John Barrowman thing really did a number on this. But here we are.
It's kind of hard not to mention John Barrowman since he's on screen the whole time.
Pretty difficult, yeah. In between us recording the original Combat commentary and this, Erica has played through Dragon Age 2, and one of the characters in that is this Welsh elf. And I thought, oh, she's definitely Welsh because I can tell. It almost sounds like Eve Miles' accent. And then she finishes the game and the credits roll, and it's Eve Miles. She was actually in the game.
There you go.
Yeah. And that was 2009? I was
going to say video games are easy money, but they're not. They have to record so much dialogue.
Oh, my God. It's so much. Yeah. They never came out with a Torchwood video game, did they? I don't think so.
I don't. How?
Well,
what would you do with a Torchwood video game?
I know, I suppose. I mean, like your little mobile tie-in game or something like that. Like I suppose it was,
maybe they did. I don't remember.
I don't think so. I don't remember. I love the Doctor Who adventure ones. Those are great.
Oh, they were actually really good. I know they got maligned for some reason, and they're actually, you take them as spirit they were. They're like basically educational games.
Yeah, and
as that stands for free, they were pretty great.
I keep forgetting to look on like YouTube for like a playthrough of those because like I don't I'm sitting next to an old iMac from 2007, which was the last known machine that the Doctor Who adventure games ran on, but it up and died at some point over the past 2 or 3 years. And there's like, I'm still holding on hope.
I went to E3 in 2010, and one of my dominant memories, besides seeing a bunch of video game luminaries and a whole bunch of stuff that, you know, I got to see the 3DS before it came out, blah, blah, blah. The most important was being in the press room and helping the guys from Gay Gamer get onto a VPN so they could not steal, but legally run the Doctor Who adventures. Because you couldn't if you weren't British, quote unquote. So in order to get this free game, you had to go on a VPN. So I actually knew how to do it. I think thanks to you, Stephen, you might have messaged me in the press room. Meanwhile, there's a guy from the AP sitting over here trying to write his story, doing his job, and I'm like, oh yeah, if you want to play this Doctor Who adventure, I can show you how to do that.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. I forgot about having to, like, even just getting a game. Yeah.
You needed to be in Britain or pretend.
Yeah.
Not only to download it, but also to even play it, which was...
so I was breaking the law in the United States of America.
Yeah. Because it was a free game.
I'm sure the statute of limitations has passed.
Yeah, a little bit.
Sure it has.
I would...
I don't remember which one that was. It might have been the Matt Smith one, the first Matt Smith one.
Oh, man, I don't know. I remember the last one, the Gunpowder Plot, was...
that was really good. Yeah.
It was really good, but it was also like a much bigger adventure, too. That was the one written by Phil Ford, and...
I think it was the one before that I did, the 2010 one. I don't remember off the top of my head.
More than one?
There's like 5 of them, I think. There's a Dalek one. There was another one.
Definitely a Cyberman one.
There was a Cyberman one.
There's a Sontaran one for sure.
Yeah.
And then Gunpowder Plot is just the Gunpowder Plot. I think it's historical, really.
It is more or less a start. And they had like little educational stuff about the Gunpowder Plot, which I didn't
There's one
really
in
know
like
about.
some Arctic base. I don't remember exactly which creatures are involved there.
Oh yeah, the Arctic base one too. Oh man. And there was like actual voices with Matt Smith and Karen Gillan, and
that's the kind of thing you would probably be able to play via the web now. I don't know if they've ever done that, but it would be not that difficult to do on the web because they weren't all that graphically intensive.
No. Chris, track it down.
Completely ignore this. So.
Yeah, track it down for us. I want to play the adventure games again. Okay.
I still have them archived somewhere.
Oh yeah. Do you have them archived? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Well, this changes things.
And I think they were playable on the Mac, which is a rarity in and of itself.
Whether they work these days or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, probably not. No, because nothing works on the Mac because it's not 64-bit.
No.
I can't play Half-Life games, which I've paid for because they're not 64-bit.
I know. I got the Lego Digital
virtualization can help you out though.
Lego Digital Designer is an app that Lego themselves made and then discontinued a few years ago, but it's so great, but it doesn't work on any, like, I keep my old MacBook Air around just in case I want to use the Digital Designer again.
That sinking sound, by the way, Chris, you heard, was me thinking about virtualization. Spending a whole night trying to figure out how to get that to work to play some game from 15 years ago. Yeah, that sounds like a good use of my time.
But I want to play those games, damn it. I mean,
it's like I work with like I'm a 50-year-old man now, and I work with I play D&D with a bunch of guys who are like 30, 29, and they're all master PC gamer dudes who like to spend a lot of money to build amazing rigs. And I'm like, they're like, you got to join us. I'm like, no, I don't. I went through this already in the 90s when I bought a Pentium.
Yeah.
I don't need to do this now. Like, I'm not doing it again. Does it work? Good enough.
Well.
Fine fellows, and I'm happy that they're enjoying themselves. But just I can't do that to myself again.
No.
So Torchwood, huh?
Yeah, here's Bern Gorman taking a drink, smashing people off the bar. He's getting in fights because he is upset at losing his girlfriend of last week, Diane. Yeah.
Wow, he's Nokia upset. Look at that.
I know. There's upset.
Now here's my question: are the Welsh as fighty as the Scottish?
I don't know actually.
Wow.
Because that would determine how much brushing off of the fight would be in the bar.
Fighty as the Scots. It's like what is the Welsh stereotype? Let's see. Well, they're often they double cross people. They're very untrustworthy, I think. They speak funny, obviously. They farm sheep and they don't know what electricity is. If you're looking for all the
I never said any of that. I just on the fight index,
just
the Brits.
Maybe Scottish.
There's a variation of Brits.
Yeah.
I think you need to type, are the Welsh as fighty as the Scottish into Google and hit
Do it.
I'm feeling lucky.
Yeah.
And
no,
just see where that takes you.
I'm just saying there's probably a fight matrix and the Scots have got to be on top of it.
Where do
The
the
Brits
Irish
are
fit
somewhere in
I
there.
don't know.
But well, the toffee nose Brits don't fit anywhere. Like they're probably really at the bottom. But the working class Brit can probably hold his own or her own.
How many cultures do we want to offend in this
I know.
commentary?
Look, if there's one culture you can offend, it's the Brits.
Right.
Especially since I'm of much British extraction myself, so I think I'm well within my bounds.
And we've been like once or twice, so like obviously we know a little bit about England.
Of course. Also, we're Canadian. Everybody makes fun of us. By virtue of us being Canadian, we are made fun of by the Brits.
I know. We used to kick Australia a lot, but then they did a lot better at COVID than we did, so we can't do that anymore.
I kind of like that edit, by the way. Finally, I'm going back to Torchwood. I like the head turn, then they do a cut to a further away shot. Mm-hmm. Nicely done.
I forgot to notice who directed this one. Andy Goddard. Is that who I think it was? Is that am I thinking right?
Sure, why not?
Oh, okay,
Let's pretend that's correct.
Well, thankfully, it is Andy Goddard. Look at that. I loaded it up earlier, and here's one I made before, and it was Andy Goddard.
Don't take anything too personally, other UK people, by the way, because Canadians never fought back against the Brits. I'm sure all you other guys did, so you're still a step up from us.
Well, I mean, for the longest time, we were puppets of Britain. Like
Puppets.
Exactly.
Canada entered World War II, for example, because Britain did. We just were
we were actually fighting as Canadians for the first time, and not as the Brits.
Sure. It was World War One. Maybe I'm thinking of that.
Yeah, World War One. They were required to. World War II, we went on our own accord. We liberated the Netherlands.
Was it World War II? We waited like one day or something just to make the distinction from World War One.
I think mostly just because the Britain declared it like 9 p.m. on September 3rd, and Canada was like, it's like 3 a.m. To declare it in the morning.
And by the way, America, Canadians whooped ass on D-Day, and James Doohan was on the beach, or so he often said.
He had lost his finger on the beaches of Normandy. Somewhat famously, actually.
Well, did no one ever find it?
That's terrible.
Just think of Scotty grimacing as they go to Warp 6, and just think of what insane Nazi nonsense he went through as a young man.
I know.
And it puts a whole lot more color into it.
And he only has 9 fingers.
Then it makes you think of what George Takei went through, and it's like just
that too.
Horrible story.
Yeah, I know.
Anybody on that show, Nichelle Nichols, for example, anybody except William Shatner, the Canadian.
Oddly enough. Yeah, I know. Speaking of going through awful stuff, this guy, he got eaten by a weevil.
That's a lot of ketchup, man.
Yeah.
He just went on a hot dog
Crazy Frog. That was a thing. Remember Crazy Frog? Remember
there's no call for that. Chris, of course you do. You love old memes.
Oh, yeah. Can't get enough. Well, it makes me think back to Stephen Moffat's Jekyll, where Crazy Frog had a strong
When Chris
presence
eventually
as well.
becomes a hermit, more of a hermit, like living on a hill hermit, they'll refer to him as Old Meme down by the hill.
Old Meme. He'll bring out the ones that used to share in Real Player.
3GP, they say.
3GP. It was pretty fast. Oh, it's pretty big there. 340 by 240 pixels.
I'll show you my MySpace on my 28K modem.
Oh, dear God. I don't even know if that's possible. Because as I recall, MySpace had a whole lot of graphics. It wasn't good graphics, but it was a lot of it.
Where was MySpace in here? Like this is Torchwood. This is
I think it was the thing at the time.
Christmas Eve 2006. We hasten to add. This is Christmas Eve.
I'm pretty sure
entertainment.
it was Facebook a thing at the time?
No,
it was just starting out.
Yes,
it was a thing.
Yep,
but barely. MySpace was probably
it was a thing several years before this, but it was like available to the public thing by this point.
Oh,
okay. What about Friendster? Friendster was still a going concern.
I don't remember
time.
Friendster. I don't remember that at all.
I never looked at that one.
I'm just guessing. I was never on it.
Are you just making that up? What about Napster? Is that what they called it, Napster? Because Napster was kind of like Friendster. But what is Napster?
I think so. Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Oh, okay. This is not good.
All right.
But it was because Sean, what's his name, the guy who founded it, had quote unquote nappy hair, and that's why he called it Napster, because he had bad white boy dreads. So yeah, it's a little not great.
Well,
yep.
Back at the Torchwood hub, The team talks about...
We're going back to Torchwood for less problematic content. What does that tell you?
Yeah.
The 2000s were a weird time.
Very
Seemed like the
strange.
future, kind of basically the past. Well, I guess it is the past now.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely the past. It's definitely not the Isle of Wight either. In the old Torchwood set, which they blew up in 2009 when they made Children of Earth. Did they actually blow it up, or was it... I can't remember. I haven't watched Children of Earth in a while, but...
It's probably a model
so,
made by Matt Irvin.
Good old Matt Irvin, who did not work on Torchwood.
Yeah.
Nope. I did a panel with him once. He is a good raconteur, I got to say.
Well, he's got a lot of stories to tell.
It's got a lot of stories to tell.
He can veer into the problematic as well, so you just keep him talking about those models. By which I mean plastic models, vacuum formed.
I mean, as much as I enjoy Matt Irvine's dedication to his work, I mean, he is responsible for some of the worst Doctor Who monsters of all time. I mean,
how dare you? There's no such thing. There is no such thing.
Responsible for a lot of the awesome model shots.
That's true. This model
Exactly.
shot, yeah. So even strictly speaking, with a model shot, criteria, people are complicated.
That's where stories like The Invisible Enemy should be like university level dissertation, case studies. Because you have K9, which was kind of cool, but ramshackle, and then you've got like the Swarm, which is pretty horrible. But the
Swarm
flip side,
is great.
Flip
That
side
was
to
that was my vaccine selfie, by the way.
Yeah.
flip side to that is all the awesome model shots for the
So many good model shots in there.
base.
Mostly in response to Space
Also,
1999 and
to
not
praise
Star
Matt
Wars.
Irvine. The book by him and Mike Tucker, BBC VFX, which I own, is fan.
Oh, yeah. I used to love that book. Is that the one I'm thinking? Or is that... No, I was thinking the one from the 1980s is the one I was thinking
No,
of.
you're thinking of the technical manual, which is also great. There's
No,
another,
there's another visual effects one that came out in
you're right.
1986.
There's another one, and it's a day in it's a day in the life of the effects department, and it's about the visitation, as I recall. And there's some Vengeance on Varos content too, but
that's not the one I'm
this
thinking
one
of.
is like from 2003, and it's all about all the VFX by the BBC VFX department. It's pretty
Oh
comprehensive.
yeah, no, the one that it isn't a visitation one. They go all around. They have like bits of like Blake 7 and stuff. Which that was the first time I ever heard of Blake 7. I think this weird model shot. I'm thinking, what is this show? Never heard of it.
Definitely, I don't know if I had that book, but it's Dirk Squarejaw.
It's Dirk Squarejaw. The other thing I remember from the commentary, the previous one.
He has
This
really
guy,
nice hair.
he's got nice hair. Look at those cheekbones too. Like those are.
I think
jaw.
the Matt Gates imbroglio had not yet happened at the time. This guy looks a lot like Matt
That's
Gates.
true. Yeah.
And if he had Matt Gates looks like a Photoshop version of him, actually. Like when you take the blend and stretch.
I remember we looked into this guy's acting career since then. He hasn't done a lot. Maybe just because he's just like people keep trying to cast him because of my square jaw. And oh yeah, that's right. That massive clunky glowing blue thing on the back of a computer won't raise any alarm bells at all.
Well, I just said it's on the back.
That's bigger than the tracking device that Spock surreptitiously places on Captain Kirk's back just before he goes to Ruapente and starts.
That big Velcro patch.
Yeah.
Also, nobody sees him with his hand on a computer. Which,
he's holding it.
A touch suspicious.
Like I just like feeling the back of computers. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. I just like it. Just feels so good. I just like to hold them for 3, 2, 1, and now I'm done. Now I'm done holding the back of that computer.
Despite this being set in Cardiff, this guy does look the prototypical the city C-bomb finance guy. He really does.
He does.
Just think finance guy in London who went to the best schools and is really crappy as a human being. That's this guy.
Perfect casting.
Well, I recently watched the movie Boiler Room. Again, I've seen it a billion times.
Mm-hmm.
But Ben Affleck's character in that is very reminiscent of this.
Yeah, basically.
Although that the movie came first, way before this.
Boiler Room. Never saw that. All I do know, just this particular podcast, everyone, Ben Bennifer's a thing again as a recording. So
Who cares?
After 17
I always
years.
love when people get wound up about this. It's like two people I've never met.
Yeah.
Which Jennifer, Garner or Lopez?
Lopez.
Yeah.
The original Bennifer.
You know what? If they're happy, good for them. If they're not, I don't care.
I just think it's been like, apparently it's been 17 years since they split up. So basically, Torchwood has come and gone, and our commentaries have come and gone, essentially, in between steps in their relationship.
Jersey Girl was released in 2004, and that's around when things fizzled, I think.
Yeah, that was, and like I said, 17 years. It's been 17
But again,
years.
why do we know or care about that?
Well, because we are a species that does these things, and always has, Warren.
That's true.
Always has.
I mean, we're talking about a TV show from 10 years ago, so we're no
10 years ago? 10 years ago.
There's some good web video for you.
That's some good stuff.
Oh, look at that interface. That is terrible.
I love those hats because when I saw that the last time, all those outfits, that is what people in warehouses wear. I remember everyone wore those in the movie Oh Lucky Man, which is a great movie, which Erica hated, but I love. Malcolm McDowell, directed by Lindsay Anderson from 1973. And I always thought that it was this weird, just that's what they wore, these strange, weird outfits, because the movie itself is kind of weird. But no, apparently everyone wears those outfits in like coffee warehouses and stuff. And I don't understand the history.
Butchers wear them as well.
But those hats,
that's like those brown coats that they used to wear in Monty Python, which are apparently just a thing you wear if you're like,
store clerk,
some guy working in a factory or whatever. I thought it was like a joke. I thought it was this weird Monty Python thing.
I know.
For years and years.
For the millionth time
like
on this podcast, what's normal to you, Britain, amazes us.
Like rain. We don't understand rain.
I have no idea
Just
what
like
rain
the first
is.
time I walked through New York and I heard the we've got 10 minutes for the news. And I'm like, that's a real thing? That's a real thing? It's not just a movie thing? What the hell? And I had to explain to my New York friends who were like, what the hell is your problem? I'm like, well, clearly I have a big problem because I thought this is like a 555 whatever thing that they just did in the movies.
Yeah. But nope. Where is that? Like Times Square or something? Or
no, it's like News 1010 or something. It's like the news channel in New York on radio, and it's just that they've had that jingle forever. And I'm getting
I see.
wrong,
I thought you were like
you've heard it in movies.
Oh yeah, I thought you were walking like through Times Square and like it through loudspeakers in Times Square.
No, but when I took my sister to New York a couple of years ago, she'd never been before. I made a point of calling up YouTube and playing the theme from Wall Street Week as we walked around.
Wow.
Down, I believe, Broadway and near Penn Station.
Wall Street Week. Is that on PBS? Is that a PBS show?
Yeah, well, it was on PBS.
Yeah.
Nerds of a certain age will know that theme.
Oh, I'd have to hear it again.
The hospital property gown.
Oh, that's right. This
hospital property all over it.
That is so weird. Like it's got it like hospital. I imagine that's just a thing. Like in England again. Like that's just like those white hats that people wear in warehouses. Like you can't walk off with this gown. It's hospital property. So that's a thing that we don't have here. I've never looked. Thankfully, I haven't had to be in a hospital for quite a while. Knock on wood. So I haven't been able to analyze the hospital gowns here in Canada. So I can't tell if it's a public healthcare thing or not. Maybe all public healthcare hospitals in the world have that.
I'll be honest with you, I don't think I've actually ever had to stay in a hospital overnight. My dad had to stay for the first time in his life a year ago at age 78.
Oh, wow. I'm glad. A, I'm glad he's okay, and B, that's
oh, yeah, he's fine. Yeah,
it's kind of a shame.
They were shocked that this is the first time he'd ever been to a hospital.
I wish that in some ways that I could, spend some time in a hospital now just to rub it into our American friends who have to pay through the nose for it. But I'm not going to go that far.
It doesn't mean you can do it frivolously.
I know. Well, I just
exactly.
Oh, look at me. I just stepped out in front of a van just to show you that a 4-day hospital stay cost me nothing.
I did see something recently on Twitter where people were holding up the bill from Americans who live in Australia going, here's the bill I had to pay for whatever. And it's like an empty hand. And also there's a writer I follow who writes here in Vancouver and is Canadian. And he was asking about joining the WGA, the Writers Guild of America, and they're like, well, why? You've got healthcare. What possible use can we be to you?
We can get you like a 20% discount. That's about it.
And apparently they've got a stunningly good healthcare program, and that's one of the main reasons to be in the WGA.
Wow.
Besides, having to write scripts and such.
Yeah. I'm displeased by the mistreatment of the Weevils in this show. They're treated like animals, and I am not.
Here's what I want to know: where do they get their coveralls? Why do they all have the same coverall?
They must get them at the same place that those flies in Planet of the Dead got theirs. Maybe like this is in the other rift in the other universe. It's just all coveralls. Basically,
Are the Weevils all just one particular janitorial company that all got infected with the Weevilitis, and that's why they all have the same coverall?
Maybe
and they
that's
just tore off their patches ritualistically.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing work for you, Torchwood.
Yeah,
but Stephen, if they fight like animals, they'll die like.
They will die like animals. Yeah, bleeding cats. Oh,
I remember thinking at the time, good. Why don't you die like an animal, Sylvester McCoy? Sylvester McCoy's doctor, I should hasten to say.
Thank you very much.
Sylvester McCoy himself.
Yeah.
And I believe it's survival, so he kind of did anyway, more or less, or he was about to. One episode hence.
I'm quite keen on survival. Quite keen on that story. Oh boy, having a fight. Dirk Squarejaw's not going to stand for this.
Well, he likes to fight.
Yeah.
You know,
He likes
It's fun to hear him yell, not in the face, not in the face.
Yeah. They're fighting in a
club for
right
fighting,
now.
you say?
Yeah.
I'm combat gathering.
I'm curious about the reaction of the extras here because they're just like, oh wow, you seeing this? Oh goodness, oh holy wow, they just
I want
beat up
to
that
call
guy.
it altercation organization.
Yeah. That's one of my hobbies is looking what extras are doing in the back of shots.
Isn't this the same bar they had a weapon in just previously?
What, like 12 minutes ago, you mean, or in a different episode?
Yeah, so why'd they let one back in?
Oh.
Like,
That's a good
okay,
point.
yeah, you won that fight, so you get to come back. All right.
That's what it is. If you lose the fight, you lose your service. Can't come in.
For a
Nope,
second
you
there,
lost.
I thought Tosh was holding a shot glass. Is that it? Has this episode made her driven her to drink?
She just has a shot glass with her at all times. They can just pour me another one, Cap. Come on.
Just pour it out of that ridiculously long earpiece you've got there. It's actually a whiskey tap.
It's got to be a fountain, right? Oh, this is an IKEA house right there. Those very clinical.
Oh, there's another Fight Club reference.
Sink.
IKEA?
IKEA, that's right. I've seen that movie once, like however many decades ago it was. 1999 probably when it came out. It's on the theater.
99, I believe, yes.
Yeah.
Don't mind me, I'm shirtless and not at all erotic.
No, I'm not trying to.
Nothing going on here at all. Let me just slip into this nice shirt, not be erotic at all.
Well, he did get in a fight. He did get
Like
in a
the saying
fight.
goes, chicks dig scars.
Yeah.
But does Owen, because that's
Owen
clearly the
digs everything.
subtext here.
He does dig everything.
That's true. Good point. He does.
See, he likes fighting because he has photos of boxers in there. Another link to Survival, because in Survival, there's a boxing club and there's boxing posters with Frank Bruno up on the thing.
But where, I
in the
ask,
gym.
are the social workers?
You're talking Silver Nemesis? Different story.
Oh, right, I am. Oh, well. It all blends into one crappy era to me.
I know it does for you, but...
James Quick Tillis, that's what it is.
What's the fighter?
No, the Fighting Frank Bruno. Oh, the boxing poster in Survival.
Oh, well done. I just remember Frank Bruno because I had heard of Frank Bruno. And so when I saw a Frank Bruno poster, I'm thinking, whoa, this seems very current. And it was at the time. Several months after the fact. But
back in the day with the local Doctor Who fan club, there were often like trivia competitions. So I'd go through and find esoteric crap like that to use for trivia questions.
Esoteric.
Nerd looking for esoteric crap. This sounds out of character.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that I had that one in my book at one time. The contents of that boxing poster.
Nice work. I both appreciate that and abhor it because it's probably like, oh,
I mostly abhor, but I slightly
you're not a
appreciate it.
real fan. But then again, I mean, I would probably look at the. That's probably on
It's the perennial sport of gatekeeping.
It's probably on some Clayton Hickman T-shirt. Actually, there's probably that boxing poster at his Redbubble store or something.
Is this where she tells him about Owen and then
I
retcons him,
think
or has that already happened?
We haven't been paying attention, have we? I think a talk is about to happen here. I think it's about to happen.
I think this is where she tells him about Owen, but retcons him.
Oh, right. The retcon comes out. That's right. And he's drinking it right now. Ah, yes.
Delicious retcon juice.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
That's why That's why she didn't say anything till after he had taken the drink.
Yeah. This is the bad thing because, Gwen's, she's not, coming clean to make herself feel better. She's removing the burden from herself. She's already, I could tell myself, she's saying that I have told, Reese that I'm cheating on him, even though he won't remember.
Isn't that like the perfect get out of jail free card, though?
Very much, yeah. Because she says, "I need you to forgive me," so that even though you won't remember any of this, it's kind of like when you're playing through a video game, thinking, "You know what? I'm going to try this," knowing that I've saved the game right here. I could do whatever.
Yep.
And then go back and think, maybe I won't kill the person I've been romancing in Mass Effect 3 or something. No, I'm going to choose a different path. I have the power. I will change it.
That's some fast acting to acting there. He's already out.
Fast acting. That's Matt Smith you're talking about. Fast acting. Says a lot of the lines pretty quickly.
I don't get it.
Didn't Moffat have an anecdote about writing scripts for Matt Smith to time? And then Smith would say the lines so fast that they had to write more stuff to fill out the episodes.
They sure did. Yep.
Yeah.
Whereas Peter Capaldi sort of took his time. Why are we rushing things here? And they probably had to. That's why some of the Capaldi episodes are like 48, 50 minutes long. Is because Capaldi's probably just.
But both of them work. I mean.
Oh yeah.
Matt Smith is great at doing that stuff, and Peter Capaldi is great at doing everything else.
I remember David Tennant.
Juxtaposition.
David Tennant during the commentary, I think for Tooth and Claw, so around the same time, he was saying that they had to redub a whole scene basically because of the way Eros Lynn directed it and cut it. Is that the way he cut a lot of the pauses out that Tennant actually put in during his original performance, and they sounded weird and dumb when you cut out the pause. It just sort of sounds like he's saying multiple different sentences in a row like that. So he had to overdub that entire speech over 2 different cuts just because the director changed his mind in the edit room. The swine. Eros Lynn directed David Tennant's finale. So in a way, even though I liked him leading up to that, I just feel like it's just cast a pall on everything.
I mean, you can't win them all, right?
No, I guess not. I mean, Matt Irvine made the Merca and Arato, but he also did great spaceships. Eros Lynn did some good episodes of Doctor Who. He also did David Tennant's finale. So
I think we're allowed to say the end of time.
I know, but I've just got so used to not saying it. I'd rather just say the David Tennant finale.
I just like saying crap instead.
That could refer to a lot of stuff when it's coming from you, though, Warren.
Like this one, for instance.
This one.
This thing we're watching right now.
Well, I do remember from the our last run through on this one. I do remember enjoying the episode more than I thought I did, more than I seem to remember.
One of the lads reckons it's an alien has a peculiar residence here in 2020 because it's basically a description of any politician's qualifications. Well, one of the lads reckons it's an alien. Yeah. Well, you're hired. Lead us all. Mm-hmm. Seems reasonable.
These poor weevils. Just want to befriend them,
You're taking a lot of abuse here.
I know. They're not like the Ood. The Ood get their justice later on in the series. The weevils never do. Never do.
Because spoilers, Owen becomes king of the weevils. Is that a form of justice, or is it worse?
I don't remember much of anything about that whole thing, so
I just remember it happens. That's it.
I cannot comment, Warren. I cannot comment on that. I cannot recall. That man's jaw is
ridiculous.
A lot. The cheekbones. Look at that. He's an android under there. He is made of metal. He is like Robert Patrick's stunt double in there. It's just like...
Have you seen this boy?
Just because I don't know what it means and I heard the term on a Doctor Who story, would you say that's a lantern jaw?
A lantern jaw? What does that mean?
I don't know. That's what Jack was referred to as having by the Trini.
I thought it would be a lantern jaw.
Trini Bot and Susanna.
A lantern jaw. Wow, I know. I
that was a lot of British words you just put out there.
That was a lot. I know. There are some words that still I do not know from Great Britain, from England, English.
I have no idea if that's a British thing.
I don't know either. Maybe it's a Trini and Susanna thing. Maybe it's a what not to wear thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I used to watch the American version of What Not to Wear. Help teach me about fashion and stuff, of which I'm a big fan.
I can't remember her name.
Stacey Clinton and
That's the one, yes.
I can't remember the other guy, the guy's host, but I remember Stacey Clinton.
I remember getting an interview with her after the fact, and she was a very interesting person.
Really? Interesting.
Lantern jaw just means a long, thin jaw and prominent chin.
I think we could say he's got a lantern jaw. Not a glass lantern jaw. Well, maybe he does because he gets killed later on. Spoilers. Like Glass Jaw. Get it? Glass Jaw. That's a boxing thing.
Like Glass Joe?
He looks like
Glass Joe.
You know what he looks like? He looks like when in the 80s and early 90s, they'd be like, I'm going to make the most extreme comic book character I can to make fun of and simultaneously celebrate ridiculousness.
Yeah.
And here we are. That's what we get.
Actually, he does kind of look like that Red Skull guy in that Captain America movie. Is that the one I'm thinking of?
Yeah, he does a little bit.
A little bit like Red Skull.
Who played Red Skull in that?
I have no idea.
It was Hugo Weaving originally.
Colin Firth.
And then some other guy.
Yeah.
No, it was Hugo Weaving in the first one.
It was Hugo
Weaving.
Was it?
Come back.
Oh.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But then in the two Avengers movies where the Red Skull is the ghostly guy and whatever the hell, Vormir, I believe the planet's called, which was a surprise. I have to say, I didn't see that one coming. It's some other actor because, again, who does a pretty credible job of imitating Hugo Weaving.
Huh.
When you've only seen each movie once, it's like, who is this guy again? Oh, really? Hugo Weaving played in the first movie. All right. I know him as
nerd, sir.
I know him as Elrond. Thank you very much.
Or Agent.
No, I don't care about the
Smith.
Matrix movie. I like
he's
him.
He's great in the Matrix. Come on,
He is
like or hate the
phenomenal.
Matrix, he's fantastic in it.
He's Elrond.
That's
He
the
plays an
smell.
elf.
If it could be said to be such a thing.
Yeah, I don't remember the Matrix at all. It's part of the thing, but anyway, here we are.
I do remember seeing Lord of the Rings and going, wait a minute, Agent Smith is going to be in this? And, or more accurately, the guy from, what the hell's the name of the movie? The drag queens throughout Australia movie. Priscilla Queen of the Desert.
Yeah. Oh, is he in that too? I know Terrence Stamp's in that.
Yeah, he's the main. No, he's not the main guy. Who's the other main? He's one of the guys in it.
Oh, who is it?
Is that the Patrick Swayze one?
No, you're thinking of Julie Newmar.
Tu Wong Fu, Julie Newmar. Yeah.
Because I was thinking that too. Yeah. No, I don't remember. I never saw that movie. In many ways,
There was some Googling.
In many ways, I'm pleased with my complete lack of exposure to a lot of popular culture because it means I can enjoy stuff, a lot more innocently. Like, growing up, like
Pierce.
Still to this day, Guy Pearce, that guy. A lot of people say, "Oh, what is John Nathan Turner hiring all these old red-haired biddies to be in Doctor Who?" And I'm thinking, I only know Beryl Reid from Earthshock. I only, until recently, know Joan Sims from The Mysterious Planet. This is the only thing I know these people. So they're perfectly natural to me. I could see Beryl Reid being the captain of a starship.
I like how you refer to John Nathan Turner hiring red-haired biddies as if it's some sort of current thing.
Well, I mean,
that's actually happening at the moment.
In the 80s, as we experienced Doctor Who without this thing they call the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ken Dodd, Halen Pace.
Ken Dodd, I know. I don't know who any of these people are.
Yeah, but we still do that. People show up on Doctor Who now. We're like, who the hell is this?
That's true.
Or the Lil Mix. We had to look up who Lil Mix was.
I don't even know who that is. I forgot that already.
There's a song of hers, I think, in the first Jodie season. I could be wrong about that.
It isn't the Spiders one, is it?
Maybe.
Where they're playing the music.
Raccoons in the UK.
You know what? People in the UK are laughing at me right now, as they often are.
Yeah, they should do.
But yeah, it's still, what I'm saying is it still happens. We still get stuff completely wrong because stuff still, like, we'll make Canadian references nobody gets because they're just staying in Canada because it's even with the internet.
Yeah, it's what we know. This is what we know, all right? That's your local angle, everyone. The Canadian references that no one else gets.
Like, if you make a Schitt's Creek or a Letterkenny joke, Americans will get it. If you make a Rick Mercer joke, that's still only going to be Canadians.
I know, yeah.
Where do the
and
trailer
he's
parks
super
boys fit
famous
into
for
this?
Canadian.
I don't know. That's decades ago. That's 20
Where
years
did
ago.
where do the Trailer Park Boys fit into this?
Oh no, that's
schematic?
very famous in the States too. They loved the Trailer Park Boys in the States.
Leonard Kenny. You said Leonard Kenny, didn't you, Warren? I think I heard you say that.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's another one. Anyway, I have no idea what's going on in the episode of Torchwood that we're watching before us. But Gwen found the
postcode where the next thing is going to happen.
Yeah.
Yes, the postcode.
So she map quested it.
Quest. I don't remember that. Good old
Garmin.
MapQuest.
I was trying to remember the one where you could download voices.
Oh yeah, that's where the Tom Baker one came from, didn't they? Isn't it?
Yes.
Or yeah,
I think
Garmin
so.
or TomTom?
Maybe it was TomTom.
It would have been proper if it was TomTom. That's where they got Tom Baker to
In
do
Britain,
it.
that's what
I think it was TomTom because
Thomas joke. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember a lot of terrible jokes.
I'm a boxing promoter. There are as many female speaking parts in this scene here as there are in one of my favorite movies from 2000, Snatch, which kind of reminds me.
And indeed, Deadly Assassin.
There's that too. There's one woman working in the bookies. All bets are off, and that's the.
She's great.
And sorry, actually, Brad Pitt's mom also. It's a very male-driven era. Was the early 2000s. Yeah. Parts of it hasn't aged well.
It was like, well, what happened? I think this is part of it. You remember the rise of Maxim and all the bloke mags and all that stuff?
Oh, yeah.
By the time that got into movies, it was the early 2000s because it was the late
That's true.
1990s that kind of happened, right? So then all the blokey nonsense kind of wandered into the 2000s in media.
I know what you mean.
Was that Jimmy Kimmel, The Man Show?
The Man Show.
Yeah, that kind of stuff too. I mean, it was all pretty cringy.
Yeah.
And bad.
You know what though? Like when I was watching all the Star Treks, I watched Voyager and then I watched Enterprise, and I remember watching especially the first 2 seasons of Enterprise, and I thought I can't tell if they are sort of like being campy, like we're actually before the original series, so therefore we're not quite as evolved, hence our sexism, or it's the early 2000s.
No,
and
it
we're
was
just
early
being
2000s.
sexist.
And Voyager was pretty guilty of that too.
I know, but man, Enterprise is probably the most sexist of all the Star Trek shows from those times.
It's
like
weird,
it's
isn't it?
the most
Well,
recent, you know,
more than 60s even.
more than even more
Wow.
than 60s, because I think it's slightly more overt. It was, it was.
Well, there's some.
I know when they got out the healing gel, I was like, oh, come on, guys, really?
I know.
Seriously?
Well,
This is
I will say that, like, you know, it's maybe not as often, but certainly like the instances where you see it, it's like, really, this is like 2002. Like, why are they doing this in 2002? Because
Deep Space Nine, to its credit, didn't do a lot of that. Like Julian Bashir was kind of cringy at the start, and then he got better. And
Very better.
I mean, somebody can show me up on this, but I think mostly, Quark can be a bit iffy from now and again. But other than that, for a show of its time, it didn't do too bad.
No, it didn't. It did not bad actually. First queer kiss on
But
TV,
Ira
was it?
Stephen Bear in the documentary
not on
What We Left
TV.
Behind he specifically says we don't deserve any praise for that. We
No.
get like a pass maybe.
No,
Because
no,
we
if
kind
you're
of
talking-
ducked
if you're talking-
out of it.
Yeah.
If you're talking the Terry Farrell thing, Roseanne Barr and what's her face from Hudson Hawk?
Hudson
Andy
Hawk.
McDowell?
It's not the reference I was expecting, but
Andy McDowell.
No, not Andy McDowell, the bad one.
Oh, then I have another.
The ones with the iconic Richard E. Grant.
Sandra Bernhard.
Yeah, I think that was the first female kiss. Although I guess maybe
Really? That's surprising.
I think on TV. I think
I don't remember. I know it caused
By the
a bit
way,
of a stir.
it caused consternation at the time.
Yeah.
and all that.
By the way, if you can see What We Left Behind, please do. It's an excellent
So
documentary.
good.
Yeah, it is.
It's such a celebration. The celebration that is, and now apparently they're doing a Voyager one because it like went through the roof with the Kickstarter.
Good.
few
I mean,
weeks
I'm not
ago.
even a
Yeah,
huge
but-
fan of Voyager, but I'd
I'm
love to
not
see a
a fan.
documentary about it.
Yeah.
But still, the behind the scenes stuff will be interesting.
Chris goes, eh.
See, I what we left behind was really enjoyable to me because I'm a massive DS9 fan.
Me too.
I have to this day I can probably count on two hands how many Voyager episodes I've watched.
Well, I'm a Johnny
So-
come lately to DS9, but I've gotten most of the way through. Like I watched chunk of it back in the day. But now I've gotten to about the tail end of Series 6. I'm going to get to Series 7. I will get through it eventually. But I agree with Steven.
Really good stuff in 6.
It is the best Star Trek series.
Hell yeah.
It is
so good.
Pound for pound, there's some great stuff in there.
Oh, it's stunning.
And I just watched again the Far Beyond the Stars, which is freaking fantastic.
Isn't it amazing? Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying anything that nobody knows already. But
No. But when you come to it, when you come to it, like, you know, as you are, like 25 years after the fact, they go, oh wow, okay, here's the episode that everyone says is a bit. It's actually amazing. Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah. It's the one with where Cisco goes into, to anybody listening, sort of falls back into a trance state or something, and he dreams or whatever that he's a sci-fi author, and everybody else in it is a sci-fi author.
Yeah.
And it's in the 1940s, and it's so good.
It's staggeringly good. Avery Brooks is a both amazing actor, and he directs that episode as well. Like it's
and he does this scene where he breaks down that is just stunning to watch.
It's tragic. It hurts.
Yeah,
it hurts to watch that.
That one has always held up.
Oh, so that whole
all these other Hallmark things, like The Inner Light, for example, for TNG.
Oh, I'm about to get to that one.
That light has faded, in my opinion.
How dare you?
I'm about to get to that one in my watch. By the way, I love how we are like. I love how we re-recorded a combat episode to try and paste over the stuff that we don't feel like we want to talk about anymore, and we aren't. We probably are.
We most certainly are not. But I'm going to watch The Inner Light tonight. Just to feel bad,
because I am,
and to feel good.
I haven't watched it in 25 years, probably, and
a long time.
But
I remember thinking it was phenomenal. So
yeah.
Well, it's not that it's bad or anything. It's just it's like some other things. Like I just enjoy it less and less the more I watch it.
Well,
it's kind of like the blink of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yeah, you don't watch it too much.
It's in no way representative of the show as a whole. Like, watch The Inner Light. None of it takes place in the Star Trek universe.
It's the girl in the fireplace of
it is kind of that too. But
just to completely veer off into Spielberg and art house movies, Schindler's List, phenomenal movie.
We've got 3 minutes left in the commentary. All right, go.
Can't watch it too often.
No.
Mike Leigh's Naked, amazing film. Do not watch it more than once a year. It is depressing as hell. Okay. So good, though.
Mike Leigh comedies are really, I don't know, dude. Oh, he did the, whatchamacallit, the Gilbert and Sullivan.
Topsy-Turvy. The only musical I like.
Yeah. Because it's all diegetic, that's why.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's
grapes.
So
we commented on grapes, that bringing grapes is a thing in the UK. Have some grapes. Sour grapes? Is that where the sour grapes comes from? That phrase, I wonder? No? I have no idea. That's another British thing, like strange, like a lantern jaw and grapes in a hospital.
Grapes, it's a Don Cherry reference obliquely thrown into a torchwood.
Oh, good. There's another
full circle to bring back to Doctor Who.
Yeah, there's another person we don't need to talk about ever again.
No, that's true.
It's only a piece. Fighting no evil. Fighting my subjects in a year's time.
While dead.
Jack's dead.
No, but I think at one point Owen dies, but still animated or something.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't remember. Maybe when we get to those, I'll remember things more.
Midway through series 2.
Yeah.
Why do I remember this? Like, why?
I don't know.
I don't care.
I remember Richard Bryars is in an episode, and there's some meat involved, and there's a blowfish driving a convertible, and
that's just in the cold open.
For
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. That's right. Wasn't there a movie called Kiss Kiss Bang Bang as well?
Yes, there was. Yep. It's excellent.
Starring Guy Pearce.
Shane Black's return to fighting for him.
I don't know who that
Val Kilmer and Robert Downey Jr. And Robert Downey Jr.'s kind of comeback movie too, actually, I believe.
You mean not Dr. Dolittle then?
No. He made that post-Marvel, I believe.
He sure did.
Iron Man is his real comeback, but Kiss Kiss Bang Bang was when people were still like, can we get this guy in a film? Really? This guy? Mm-hmm. And now he's an institution. And from what I can tell, has remained clean and sober ever since. So
I suppose. And now has billboards, poorly spelled out billboards in Los Angeles, trying to
bring back the Stark Tony
to life. Yeah.
Oh, nerds, why?
Copy editing is important. There he is. There he is, taking his claim as the king of the Weevils, to be continued later on in life.
Which makes a little of any sense.
I suppose so. What January 20th, 1941? I'm trying to remember when the Empty Child happened.
No.
because that happened in 1941, didn't it? I never thought about this before, and thus we will not mention it in this commentary because we've already recorded it. But Captain Jack was basically in two places at the same time during the Blitz in the UK, once in Cardiff and once in London, obviously.
And 3 times because his dead body is lying, sitting in a coffin for thousands of years.
That too.
So it's still kicking around.
Man, there's a lot
He
of
probably
Captain
caused the
Jacks.
rift. If I know ridiculous physics, and I don't, that's what caused the rift.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head if a date was given for the Empty Child.
Well, we're going to look it up and then not mention it because, as I said, it's past history. This is the last Torchwood commentary for season 1 we did, folks.
Yeah.
So, hope you enjoyed that. Hope you enjoyed the credits are still rolling. I'm still talking. The Star Trek talk. Watch DS9. It's still the best.
All the
Star
nostalgia
Trek.
retro 2000s.
Watch
internet.
Interlight, which I'll see in HD for the first time.
Oh yeah, the
was
blue.
Interlight not one of the 5 or 6 whatever when they did that that collection of HDified TNG before they did all the Blu-rays?
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe, but I never watched it until it showed up on Netflix. So,
all the ones on Netflix are all HD now, so it looks really good. Really good. It's unfortunate because I remember watching DS9 and going, why are there pixels everywhere?
Watch it for 5 minutes, you don't care anymore.
No, you don't. But I feel like, TNG has gotten, all the love when DS9 clearly is the best one.
I often wonder if that's something I say because I'm 50 and like some 20-year-old will be like, no, it looks like crap. And they're right. It does.
It is. Yeah.
But I'm so used to it from 30 odd years of living with it. I don't care.
Exactly. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed the commentary. I hope you enjoyed the banter and discussion over the course of that commentary. More to come. More to come next week. Captain Jack Harkness, the episode, not the character, and the penultimate episode of Season 1 on Torchwood Revisited, the commentaries. So until next time, I'm Stephen in Edmonton.
Born in Vancouver.
And Chris in Edmonton.
So long for now.
You've been listening to Radio Free Skaro. Find us online at radiofreeskaro.com. Follow us on Twitter and Tumblr at Radio Free Skaro. Subscribe to us on iTunes and donate to the show at patreon.com/Radio Free Skaro. Thank you.